The small gray room was cold. Captain Alara Voss sat alone, wearing her old space uniform, staring at the floor. The walls had no windows, no clocks. Time didn't matter here. She had already said goodbye to Earth. Her last mission was not a mission at all. It was a punishment. She was being sent to Zero's 9, a distant and dangerous planet no one returned from. The officials said it was a test for human survival. But Alara knew the truth. They were getting rid of her. She had disobeyed orders in the last war. She saved innocent lives when she was told to destroy. Now they called her a problem, and problems are sent far away. When the metal doors opened, 2 soldiers walked in. No words, just a nod. Alara stood and walked between them. Her eyes were hard. Her fear was buried deep inside. She wouldn't give them the pleasure of seeing it. They took her to the launch pad. A small one-person ship waited there, already programmed with coordinates. She wasn't allowed to fly it herself. She wasn't trusted anymore. Before stepping inside, she looked up at the stars. So many of them, cold and far. Somewhere out there. She thought, maybe there's a place that still needs me. The launch was rough. The ship shook as it left Earth's orbit. The AI voice counted down her arrival time for days in deep sleep mode. When she woke, the ship was burning through an alien sky. Thick green clouds. Lightning without sound. The landing was not smooth. The ship crashed into a dark forest, trees taller than towers, and glowing blue vines wrapping around everything. The system was damaged, communication offline, oxygen levels low, no weapons, no supplies. She knew now that this was a death sentence, not a mission. Alara stepped outside with a deep breath. The air was heavy, but breathable. Strange sounds echoed from the jungle. The trees seemed to move when she wasn't looking. She walked slowly, scanning her surroundings. Then she heard something, not with her ears, but inside her mind. A whisper, soft, curious. Not in English, not in any human language, but she understood. Why are you here, child of stars? She spun around, weaponless, heart racing, no one there. It's only trees, only silence. But the voice came again, this time closer. You woke me. A chill ran down her spine. She wasn't alone. Something was watching. She followed the voice deeper, into the forest. The light grew stranger, like it was following her. Then she found it. A tall black stone standing in the middle of a clearing, smooth, sharp, and humming with energy. It pulsed when she stepped closer, like a heartbeat. Her hand reached out against her will and touched it. The world around her changed. Her mind flooded with images, cities floating in the sky, beings made of light, a planet once full of life and now silent. The voice said one word that made her freeze. Mother. She pulled her hand back, breathing hard. The stone stopped glowing. But something inside her had changed. She felt a connection deep and strange, like she had become part of the planet. She didn't know what it meant. She didn't know what the voice really was. One thing was clear. This planet was not empty. It had just awakened, far above. A hidden satellite sent a signal back to Earth. The mission had failed. Alara was still alive. And now, the planet was active. They had sent her to die. But something had other plans. Alara stayed still in front of the black stone, her heart pounding like a drum. The voice had said, Mother. But how? She wasn't a mother. She was alone, thrown away by her own people. The wind moved through. The glowing vines like whispers. The forest no longer felt empty. It felt like it was breathing with her, alive, watching. She stepped back slowly, trying to think. Her ship was damaged. No signal, no food. This strange thing. In the jungle was full of power. She didn't understand what it was, but she knew it was not natural. It was placed here, built. And the voice, it wasn't just in her head. It was inside the stone. Or maybe. The stone was the voice. Then it spoke again. You carry the seed. Alara blinked. Do you mean the seed of life, of memory, of choice? Don't understand, she said aloud. What are you? There was a long pause, and then the voice became clearer, stronger. I am Navither, was created before your kind learned fire. I watched stars be born. I was once many minds. I am one. You woke me. Ilara's hands trembled. The stone, or Navither, was ancient, older than Earth. It sounded impossible, but nothing about this world followed human rules. She looked around the jungle again. It had changed slightly. The vines had moved closer, not threatening, but curious, like animals sniffing her scent. She turned back to the stone. Why me? You are a bridge, Navither said. You were sent to die, but you carry life. You are not like the others. Ilara thought of Earth command, cold faces, hard decisions, no mercy. She had always tried to do what was right, not what was ordered. Maybe that's why this alien voice chose her, because she had a heart. Are you alive? She asked. Not as you are. I am memory, mind, and light. My creators are gone, but I remain. Waiting for what? For someone to finish what they began? Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet shook slightly, and a line of blue light appeared under the mossy forest floor. It led away from the stone, like a path. Ilara hesitated. Every instinct told her to run, but she had nowhere else to go. She followed the glowing trail. The forest opened into a valley, and in the center was a massive circle of broken metal towers and glass domes. Some still flickered with light. An old alien city, half buried, half alive. This place had not seen life in thousands of years, but it had not died completely. Vines grew through machines. Trees cracked through stone. Yet deep inside, something still worked. The voice guided her. This was our cradle, our first memory. We reached for peace, but others reached for power. War came. We buried the future, locked it under the earth. Ilara stepped into one of the towers. Lights came on, as if the building had been waiting for her. Screens lit up with strange symbols. One of them showed a map of the planet, most of it dark, but one area was glowing now, the jungle where she crashed. You activated the heart engine, Navither said. It watches you, learns from. You learns? She asked. Yes, it copies what you are. It builds using your pattern, your thoughts, your hopes. Ilara froze. You're turning this planet into me, not you. A world like yours. A new home, one that remembers. Suddenly, everything changed. This was no longer a mission to survive. It was a mission to create. The planet was shaping itself based on her, but not everyone would see that as a gift. Back on Earth, the signal from the planet showed strange power readings. The command grew nervous. If Ilara was alive and the alien tech was active, she might be a threat. It began to prepare another team, one not for rescue, but for cleanup. Ilara stood in the center of the broken alien city, the lights humming softly around her. Strange machines blinked and clicked, reacting to her presence. Screens showed her face, DNA, her movements, like she was inside a living brain, and it was learning, copying her. The voice of Navither stayed quiet for now, but Ilara felt it watching, deep under the surface of this world. She moved carefully through the ruins. Metal walls had melted into roots. Giant trees had grown through old towers. This place had once been powerful. Now it was something between dead and dreaming. As she touched the side of a curved wall, the surface shimmered and changed. Images appeared daily in people with glowing eyes walking through golden cities. A peaceful race, a smart race, and then fire. Ships falling from the sky, machines breaking apart. The war Navither spoke of it had destroyed everything. Ilara felt something beneath her boots. The floor vibrated slightly, not shaking, but alive, breathing. She walked down a ramp into a dark hallway. The blue lights followed her footsteps. At the end was a room filled with glowing tanks. Inside them were shapes, human shapes, but not born-grown. Their faces looked familiar. Her face. The machines were building copies of her. Ilara backed away in shock. What is this? Navither answered, soft and slow. Earth sent you to die. I sent you to begin. You're cloning me? Not you. Your hope, your will, your kindness. This world remembers pain. Now it wants peace. You are the pattern. Lara stared at the tanks. Some figures were half-formed. Some looked like children. Strange feeling filled her heart. Not fear, but something like responsibility. Was she becoming the mother of a new race? She left the lab and walked outside. The forest had changed again. Plants were now growing in the shape of buildings. Small lights floated in the air. Animals watched her from the shadows. Not afraid, not angry, just ... aware. Intelligent. Then something moved in the sky. A flash of light. Not a star. Not natural. A drone. Alara ducked behind a rock and watched it fly over. It was Earth tech. Quiet. Fast. A scout. They found her. And they weren't alone. A loud sound came from deep underground. A roar. But not from an animal. Something mechanical. Something angry. The ground cracked and a massive machine crawled out of a hole, a four-legged crawler made of black metal, covered in rust and strange red markings. It scanned the sky, then the forest. Then it turned toward Alara's location. Navithara's voice returned, sharp now. The old guard has awakened. It was once our protector. Now it kills all life. Alara ran. The crawler fired a burst of red energy behind her, destroying trees in seconds. Vines reached out to protect her, wrapping around her body and pulling her to safety. The planet was defending her, but the enemy was real. More machines crawled from the earth. Broken, corrupted defense systems that once protected this planet now hunted anything that breathed. The jungle became a battlefield. Alara hid in a cave, breathing hard. She looked at her hands. She wasn't a soldier anymore. She wasn't a captain. But this world saw her as something more. A symbol. Back in the ruins, the tanks glowed brighter. The clones were growing faster, and the planet's power was rising again. Above the planet, Earth's secret ship received the data. The AI in command sent a message back. Target alive. Alien system active. Prepare strike team. The mission had changed. Now, Alara Voss was not just a woman lost on an alien world. She was a threat to all of Earth, and the machines below weren't the only ones coming for her. Alara didn't sleep that night. The cave was cold, but the real chill came from what was happening outside. The crawler machines were still searching. The forest. Their red lights moved between the trees like hunting eyes. She could hear their heavy footsteps echoing through the valley. Sometimes she felt the ground shake slightly as one passed nearby. The planet tried to protect her. Vines grew fast, hiding her trail, and strange glowing moss covered her scent. But she knew it wouldn't last. The machines were learning too. Inside the cave, Navithar spoke again. They were built to defend. They became destroyers. You must go to the core.
What's in the core?
Alara asked.
Power, memory, control. The last command center of this world. If you reach it, you can stop them. Change them. Can't you do it?
Weak now. My memory is broken. Only with your help can I reach full form. Alara understood the risk. The core was deep underground, possibly filled with more machines. But it was also the key. If she could reach it, maybe she could shut everything down. Maybe she could save this world. But Earth had other plans. Far above, military ship entered orbit. Silent, black, full of trained soldiers and drones. Their orders were simple. Extract the subject if possible. If not, terminate. They carried weapons designed for alien tech. And for Alara, the strike team landed far from the jungle, hidden in a rocky desert. 6 men and women moved quietly toward the last signal location. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Back in the forest, Alara moved quickly through the undergrowth. She followed the glowing lines that appeared only when she touched the ground. Navithar was guiding her, turning the planet's systems on, one by one. She reached a massive cliff. A wide metal door was hidden behind vines and rock. It opened slowly as she approached. Warm light came from inside. The entrance to the core, she stepped in. Inside, the air was clean. Lights ran along the walls, showing symbols and paths. Machines hummed quietly. This place was different from the ruins above. It was still alive, still working. Screens turned on as she passed, showing images of the planet's history, its rise, its war, and its silence. Then she saw something shocking, a video. Old, grainy, but real. It showed a human ship, an old one, from Earth, landing here. 100 years ago. Navithra's voice came softly. They came before your kind. They promised peace, but they brought war. Ilara felt her knees weaken. Earth knew about this planet long ago. They didn't discover it now. They lied. They covered it up. They wanted to control it, and when they failed, they erased it. You were sent to finish their failure, the voice said. But you chose life. Suddenly, the screens went black. The power shifted. The ground shook. Something was coming. Strike Team had entered the jungle. They were close. Too close. At the same time, the corrupted machines had found them. The first soldier was dragged into the dark before he could scream. The others fired back, but the jungle twisted against them. The planet did not welcome them. Ilara reached the core chamber, a large round room filled with lights and holograms. In the center was a chair, connected to everything. You must sit, Navithra said. You must become part of this world. Not ready, she whispered. You are the last hope. As she sat down, the systems lit up. Her mind filled with light. She felt everything, the wind, the machines, the sky. She became part of the planet's nervous system. Then she saw them, Earth's soldiers, fighting both the planet and the machines. And she saw herself in the middle of it all, the only one who could stop the war before it began again. The countdown had started. She had to choose. Earth or Earth 2. Ilara's body sat still in the glowing chair, but her mind was flying. She could feel the planet breathing. She could hear the trees singing, the rivers thinking, the sky watching. The core had opened everything to her. She was connected to Earth 2. Know every system, every pulse, every defense. She wasn't just a visitor anymore. She was part of it. The planet had made its choice. It trusted her. Outside, chaos grew. The Earth Strike Team was trapped in the jungle. Half of them were already gone, taken by the corrupted machines that rose from the soil like angry ghosts. One soldier shouted for backup. Another screamed before his signal went dead. They thought they were hunting a threat, but now they were. Prey, Ilara saw it all from the core. The corrupted machines weren't stopping. They hated all life. Even this world's AI couldn't control them fully. They were the virus left behind after the ancient war. They followed only one command: destroy anything that lives. But Navithra had one last option. You can activate the world engine, the voice said in her mind. It will remake the surface, heal the land, kill the machines. But it will also end the humans who came. Lar felt the weight of the decision crush her chest. These soldiers, maybe they followed orders. Maybe they didn't know the truth. Should they die for what Earth Command had done? Then another voice reached her, a weak human signal. Ilara, oh, this is private, Lynn. We didn't know. They lied. To us, we're just trying to survive. Please, if you hear this, don't leave us. It wasn't a trick. It was real. A scared, tired voice from a young soldier. She couldn't let more people die. Ilara stood from the chair and stretched her hand toward the control panel. New lights appeared. Options. She didn't choose destruction. She chose evolution. Open peace protocol, she said. Navithra paused. No one has spoken those words for 10,000 years. I speak them now, the planet responded. The forest shimmered. The corrupted machines froze. Vines wrapped around them, crushing their cores. Blue energy flowed through the ground, wiping the virus from the planet's systems. The sky cleared. The world engine activated, but not to destroy, to create. Mountains moved, rivers redirected. Giant flowers opened and released oxygen. Trees grew buildings. and stones became bridges. The clones in the tanks opened their eyes, half human, half alien, and full of life. Earth, too, was being born, not as a copy, but as something better. The remaining soldiers dropped their weapons. They looked around in shock as the jungle calmed. Animals walked past them without fear. The air smelled like new rain and fresh light. Lotta stepped out of the core. The vines moved to clear her path. Her eyes glowed faintly now, touched by the planet's code. She met the soldiers in the clearing. No armor, no gun, only truth. "This world is alive," she said. "It doesn't want war. It wants a future." One soldier, the one who called himself Lin, looked at her with wide eyes. "What are you?" She smiled. "I'm just human, but now I speak for more than just humans." A signal burst into space from the core, peaceful, open, beautiful. It reached Earth. Billions saw the images of the new world, the rebirth, the harmony. People cried. People protested. The leaders tried to shut it down, but it was too late. Earth 2 was no longer a secret. It was a second chance. And Alara Voss had become its guardian. Alara stood at the edge of a cliff, the wind of Earth 2 moving through her hair. Below her, the new world stretched far in wide green valleys. Silver rivers, glowing cities grown from crystal trees and stone roots. The sky above her was a brighter blue now, with 2 suns rising slowly. Birds, half metal and half feather, flew in circles. The air smelled clean, wild and new. Behind her, the core pulsed softly. It was alive again. It was at peace. The voice of Navither had grown quieter over the past days, almost like a guide stepping back after the student had learned enough. Alara didn't need constant help anymore. She understood now this planet had never wanted to fight. It had only wanted to be heard. The clones were no longer just copies. They had begun to grow, speak, think. Some looked like her, some different. But all of them carried something she had given: kindness, memory, curiosity. They were not her children in the usual sense, but they were her responsibility. They called her the First, a name she hadn't chosen, but one she accepted. The surviving Earth soldiers now lived among the new people. At first they were afraid, unsure. Soon they saw that this world didn't hate them. It welcomed them. The jungle stopped attacking. The animals no longer hid. Machines rebuilt themselves not as weapons, but as helpers. Robots carved homes. Vines created paths. Everything worked in harmony, but Earth Command was not silent. The signal Alara had sent back, those beautiful images of Earth 2, had caused an earthquake across the old world. Protests, demands, people wanted to come here, to start again, but the leaders were afraid. Earth 2 was not under their control, and Alara, she had become something more than human in their eyes. They feared what she might build, what she might teach. A message arrived from Earth, a voice from an old general. "You are holding dangerous technology. Return it, or we will come and take it." Alara smiled sadly as she played the message. She stood under a tree that had grown from her footsteps. It sparkled under the twin suns. She sent back one answer: "This world is not yours to take." The general never replied. Instead, unknown ships began to gather in the dark edges of space, silent, watching. Planning Earth wasn't done with her yet, but neither was. Earth 2 Navither returned to her thoughts that night. Its voice now deeper, wiser, older. "Others are coming," she whispered. "They will bring war. But this world has changed. You have changed it." "Then we will protect it," she said. "Yes," the voice replied. Not with fear, but with something they've forgotten. "What?" "Hope." And then it faded, leaving her under the stars. As weeks passed, Earth 2 continued to grow. A council was formed, half human, half new beings. The language of the planet was taught. The jungles became gardens. Machines once built for death were turned into music makers and builders. New flag was raised, woven from vines and stars. And Alara, she walked alone sometimes, just to feel the heartbeat of the world under her feet. She remembered what it felt like to be alone, broken, thrown away. Now, she was the beginning. She was sent to die on an alien world instead. She made it live again. She was the first of Earth too, but far beyond the skies, in the cold dark of space. Another world watched, ancient, silent. Remembering the war it once started, it did not forget Navither, and now it saw Alara. The story was not over. It had only just begun. The stars above Earth, too, twinkled brighter than ever, but Alara felt the cold warning beneath their beauty. She stood on the balcony of the Sky Temple, a structure grown by the planet itself, high above the clouds. It wasn't just a home, it was a signal tower, a watch point, and a promise. Below her, Earth, too, was peaceful, glowing, growing. But in the black ocean of space, something was coming. It had no name, no friendly face. It didn't send a message. It just appeared, an ancient ship the size of a mountain, covered in sharp black plates and strange red lights. It moved like it had always known where Alara would be. Navither confirmed her fear. The ones who ended us, the voice said softly. They are not dead. They have watched. Now they move again. Alara had felt the planet heal, but now she sensed its nervousness. The trees bent with unease. The water slowed. Even the creatures grew silent. Earth, too, remembered the war that had destroyed it once. And now its enemy had returned. The alien ship entered orbit without speaking. It released small probes, thin, needle-like devices that landed softly in the forests and oceans. The planet's systems tried to stop them, but these probes moved. Faster, smarter. Alara called an emergency council meeting. The humans, the new people, and the soldiers from the original strike team sat around her. They didn't come to talk, she said. They came to finish the war they started long ago. But why now? Asked Private Lynn, now a respected voice among the settlers. Because Earth, too, is alive again, Alara answered. They fear what it might become. Suddenly, the Corps sent out a distress pulse. The probes were drilling into memory points, places where ancient data, culture, and power had been stored. If the enemy accessed it, they could twist Earth 2's systems, turn it against itself. They could erase Nevathor for good. She led a team of hybrids, half human, half Earth 2, to the heart of the forest. The vines cleared the path for them. The planet gave her armor made of living crystal. Her breath synced with the trees. She no longer needed commands. The world trusted her completely. They found one of the probes that was digging into a root system older than anything else on the planet. Before Alara could speak, it attacked. Blades extended. It moved like a shadow, fast and cold. But Earth 2 fought back. Roots burst from. The ground had pulled it down. Alara touched the probe just as it died, saw flashes in her mind. A race with no faces, no names. A hunger for silence. They feared thought. They feared change. Navither had tried to bring peace, but they had wanted control, so they tried to destroy anything that grew. Lara fell back, shaking. They will never stop, she whispered. Then we must become something they cannot stop, Navither said. Alara returned to the core. A final choice waited for her there. She could activate the Bacona signal system that would reach not just Earth, but every intelligent world across the stars. It would tell them that Earth, too, was not a weapon. It was a home, a place for those left behind. A place for peace, but doing so would also bring attention. Good or bad, the universe would know they existed. She stood before the console, alone again. One hand on the control. One deep breath. Then she spoke the words that would echo across. The stars. Let them know we are alive. Let them know we are different. The beacon fired. A burst of golden light rose into space. Across distant galaxies, machines turned, eyes opened, ships paused. And far back on Earth, children looked to the sky and asked what the light was. The war had not ended. But Earth, too, had found its voice. Alara watched the stars, a quiet fire in her eyes. She was sent to die on an alien world. She was a message, a warning, and a legend that would shape the future of every world to come. The first human of Earth, too, but not the last.